as informed earlier, from today onwards, we'll have a podcast first. Afterwards, we'll have our regular review of the earlier meetings. Today, we have a very multifaceted personality, Balachandran, who is going to have a podcast. I happened to meet him a few years back when I went to Mysuru. Vivekananda Kendra is having a center at Mysuru, and we have our own worker, Arvind, who is also our close friend. When I visited his place, he knows subjects of my liking. So he took me to Balachandranji's place where he is running a very nice shop. It is not a shop, actually, it is like a home. On the ground floor, he sells organic vegetables and other material. And on the first floor, he helps the artisans by selling their products like bamboo, terracotta, etc. It was a very wonderful experience. And at that time, I was not aware that he is basically an architect and he is also on the same page like Vivekananda Kendra Narade, and particularly his love for bamboo. Balachandraji, you will be surprised to know that we are also aware that the bamboo is not used properly the way it should have been. And we have our own model called WindCap. We constructed one biogas plant by using bamboo as a reinforced material. And you will be happy to know, with the help of MNRE and CAPARD at that time, we constructed about 100 such plants by using bamboo as a reinforced material all over India. Anyway, it was very interesting. When I read his biodata, I was very happy. And then I told Balachandran that for a long time I am dreaming that in Kanyakumari we want to have a bamboo house between the two trees. When we started our Narade, the trees were short, they were not that big. But now the trees have grown, and I am sure we will be able to construct a very nice house between the two trees. I always dream that on a holiday I will go there and with a cup of tea in my hand and a good book, I will enjoy that living on the tree actually. Luckily, Balachandran sir also have agreed that some other time whenever we come to Kanyakumari he will discuss. We have already actually given this CV to all of you. For me also it was new to me that he was also associated with Development Alternatives, Nizamuddin Building Center, from whom we also have a long association. In fact, we have taken the microfill technology from them and we have adopted in our own technology resource center. So basically Balachandran sir is from Shivagasi, from Tamil Nadu, but now settled in Mysuru. Over to Balachandran for his podcast. We'll have about 15 to 20 minutes presentation. Afterwards, we'll have question and answer session. Over to Balachandran ji.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you for the opportunity, and we will definitely plan for the tree house.
Balachandran sir, can you come on video, sir, please?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So everybody can hear me and see me, right?
Yeah.
So it's always a good feeling to be with the family. We feel a sense of belonging with those who think and act alike. And so nowadays I understand why Swami Vivekananda called the audience as brothers and sisters. When you are in the middle of like-minded people, you have that sense of belonging. Though I'm not sure yet, I can call those who doesn't fit into my frequency of thinking of family yet. Anyway, so thank you for this great opportunity to share my thoughts and experiences with this wonderful group. I will share my video, the presentation that I have prepared for today. Mr. Sridhar, how do I share my presentation? Any? Yes. Present now. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. So everybody is able to see the presentation.
Yes, sir. You can put on the screen mode if possible, sir.
I will. I will do that now.
Clear, sir.
Right. Yeah. So I started this journey of exploring sustainability perhaps 15, 20 years back. Till then I was like traveling around. I studied architecture, then went into IT, learned a bit of design, web design, all that. A vivid trekker for many years and a few trips to Himalayas made me, developed a sense of gratitude towards nature, and I was trying to see how I can become one with nature or contribute to nature. And that's how I started moving out of the regular jobs and then started looking for ways to work with nature. So now today when I try to summarize all these efforts in the last 15, 20 years, I have always been trying to develop knowledge and skill to extract my basic needs from Mother Earth without harming her. I think that is the fundamental or the core structure in which I have worked all through years. So when I say the basic needs, we are talking about the food, shelter, and clothing. And today I thought of sharing my experiences in that format. So the first one, when I started, when I moved to Mysuru 15 years back, uh, I started practicing agriculture. Uh, but then I was really new. So when I started looking at the various methods of farming, sustainable farming, there were many options available. As you know today, there is an organic farming practices, the biodynamic farming, and then zero budget farming was codified recently. So many different ways of doing it. So I tried to look or go back and understand from a historical perspective. And there are there is so much of knowledge that is within the Indian agricultural systems. Like as Dr. Narendra Joshi told last year, it's about understanding the traditional knowledge, significance, and contextualizing it was very important. So today, when I started looking at the practices around, we seem to have come too far from this treasure trove of knowledge. We have so much of theoretical knowledge, but then when we started looking for practical examples, it was very, very few. Even the various schools of thought that we have has codified in the practice farming, like in soil management or pest management or nutrition management. But all this information were in silos. So, of course, I started experimenting in different ways. Initially, I was working with another friend in doing dairy farming. and then I started doing wisdom. So in each of these, I was trying to understand what would be the right approach. So gradually, one basic knowledge or idea that I got is the interconnectedness of nature, where we when we try to work with nature like agriculture, unless we understand the geographical context in totality, we won't be able to succeed. So ecology is a word that actually caught my attention, and I started reading more about it. And the definition of ecology is the relationship between the parts within the whole. So when we are able to connect with that multidimensional symbiotic relationship that exists within nature, then we are moving in harmony with the sustainable ways of nature. So that's something which I started learning with my agricultural experiences. And I will try to summarize my farming experiences under these different topics. Though geographical context varies, these are the main areas where I feel one should focus on to really gain understanding and develop some success in the agricultural endeavors. Starting would be the seeds, because today what we have with us is completely hybrid varieties. We don't have good traditional seed varieties that easily available. And when I say seeds, even the organic markets that we sell here, we can't really look for the traditional varieties completely, because in an open pollinated world, it becomes hybridized automatically. So maintaining one's own seeds year after year helps in a long way, which I have realized in my experience, and also one of our mentors here, he practiced natural farming for many years, and his papaya is very famous in Mysuru. How he did was he started selecting the best seed varieties and start using them for the subsequent year. And in a span of 5-6 years, the papaya that was coming out of his farm was extraordinary. People were actually standing in queue to buy his papaya. So the connection between the seed and the soil is so vital. So maintaining your own plant is so crucial. Uh, of course, the second aspect is the soil fertility, which many of the practices today highlight. How we manage the soil fertility, and it is directly proportionate to the microbial activity that happens. So how we build a house for ourselves, the microbes and the crores and crores of living organisms under the soil create a house for themselves, starting from the smallest microbe to the fungus to the earthworms. They create a house for themselves, and if we can try to understand a bit of it in terms of how the fungal network works, how the roots of our plants become a home for the different fungal family. So all that basic knowledge gives us an understanding of how to maintain soil fertility. And the other key aspect is, as we start growing in agriculture, we tend to extract food, in the sense every year we grow certain things and we take out certain things from the soil. So which means, how are we going to replenish or close that cycle? So adding sufficient biomass in various formats, be it dried leaves or the honge cake, neem cake. So Jivamrita, all that are different means or different methods of adding biomass into the soil. So that cycle, establishing that cycle is so vital. And when it comes to plant nutrition, each plant variety, what we want to grow in the given soil conditions is so vital. So understanding what are the nutritional needs of the different plants is very important. And when we talk about agriculture today, the integrated farms is gaining ground. When we say integrated farming, it is about the cattle and trees that are part of a farm. The monoculture farming that came into existence in the last 100 years is slowly losing ground. To give you a background about the Indian way of practicing agriculture, there is a book called Agricultural Testament, written by Albert Howard, who was sent by the British during the 1850s to study and train the local population. He was a scientist who traveled to many parts of the world. He went to the Caribbean islands, he went to the South African continent, and when he traveled across India, his book, Agricultural Testament, clearly mentions that of all his travels, the Indian way of practicing agriculture has been the best in terms of a holistic and sustainable way. So he even documented the different methods, and he created a lab in Indore. Even today it is functioning, and he actually kind of again codified some of these practices in terms of cattle rearing, in terms of mulching, and different practices that he found was very interesting and holistic. So he mentions about all these, the mixed cropping and crop cycles, how it helps in various ways. At the end of the day, it is about how we, so like when we talk about sustainability, it is about creating the cycles. When we grow groundnut, and if we are going to extract oil out of it and send that oil to a faraway place and send the oil cake to some other place and then try to look for some other bioresource to create that soil fertility again, we are breaking that cycle. So in a way, we should be able to create our cycles as local as possible. I think that helps not only ecologically, even economically in the long run. So I think if we start understanding the concepts of farming, because everyone who consumes food has a responsibility of understanding how the food comes. So today the opportunity to connect with the farmers is there, and our shop in Mysuru is one such thing. So while doing my farming activities, I happened to connect with a local group who was into having those weekly santes, and so I started working with them, and I understood organic as a movement helps in creating opportunities to really design and visualize a local community which has its own supply chain. So you connect with people, you connect with different practices. So when we talk about organic today, predominantly the theme is around pesticide free or toxic chemicals and all that, but I think that is just the top layer. The definition of organic is much more deeper, and by implementing or participating in that organic movement in the neighborhood, it helps to understand the concept of sustainability better. One key scheme called Participative Guarantee Scheme, which is actually a grouping of farmers. Today we have the farmer producer organizations that are being developed, that are being formally legalized. But this Participative Guarantee Scheme is an international concept that evolved much earlier. The core idea is to bring together farmers. So what they say is a minimum of 5 farmers can come together and name their group and start working together, and they can call themselves as organic, or they can self-certify themselves as organic, and it is valid. So in the process, you try to come together and share seeds, share knowledge, share transport, logistics, and so the PGS as a concept helps in bringing together the farmers collectively for the betterment of the bigger community. So the store in Mysuru has evolved all these years. Earlier, it used to be a very small structure with farmers coming only on Fridays, and other days will be very empty and things like that. Gradually, we developed into a regular exercise. Now we are operating in a big heritage structure that is 135-year-old structure. The owners are so considerate; they are giving it at a very nominal price, and the store itself, as was told, has evolved into something bigger, where we try to connect with the local community in different ways. We not only deal with the groceries and the vegetables. We talk about the daily needs in terms of the kitchen needs, the terracotta or the bamboo items that can be used for day-to-day needs. And also one thing that I got inspired from the Vivekananda Kendra was the promotion of the herbal saplings, because by making readily available a group of saplings which can be used for regular consumption, from aloe vera to tulsi to dodpatre, all that we started maintaining in our store, and our friend Vivekananda Kendra Arvind was helpful in various ways. So our store now is kind of one of the oldest in Mysore, which has been, I would say it is now driven by the community itself, because my role in the whole thing is very limited now. People tend to engage in various ways. There are volunteers who come and organize programs and all that. So it's a good feeling to be a part of such a community and participate in promoting good food for the community. So that's on the food sector. And on the shelter, where my architectural background helped. I was practicing architecture in Singapore and Malaysia for a while, came back, and all along during my college days itself, I had an affinity towards bamboo as a material, but only after coming to Mysore, I started focusing on that more. So this is just an illustrative example of a typical interior today. And can you see anything wrong in this, or is there anything that you can identify as a problem? Not many can see the real issues in this because it's visually appealing. You have all the necessities of today's modern living. But what needs to be seen is the materials, the lens that you need to see in today's structures is the materials that are going into the construction, the structural as well as the interiors. Because today the market is flooded with so much of materials which are composite in nature, which doesn't have a proper healthy composition. So just to contrast that, if you look at this, all the materials used in this interior is natural and it has its own decomposition cycle and they don't leach carcinogenic materials into the environment as it ages. To give you some more example of the different types of interiors that can be planned. And I'll take just 2 minutes to explain about my experience with constructing school anganwadis for the tribal children in the forest area. So we earmarked a bamboo clump and then harvested it, treated it in-house, and then built it using the local people themselves. And this was actually a district level project. The DC at that time, Mrs. Shika, allocated this project, and it was a very interesting project. We even went to Delhi to highlight the possibilities. But eventually, what happened was, the key learning from this project was, anything that is natural requires maintenance. So when we didn't integrate the maintenance cost of such a project into that government scheme. After the first year, second year, when it started deteriorating, we couldn't really make it happen, because that is the one thumb rule. When we say natural, it means it has life, and anything that has life will interact with the environment. So even though we were using treated bamboo, it starts attracting the fungal development. And in olden days, we used to have that annual cycle of we normally do our painting and stuff, but which is, that tradition or that culture is lost. So that is one key lesson learned. And to give you an example of why the building material industry needs to be addressed, the kind of earth resources that are being utilized today are not recyclable, especially if you look at the different products. The aluminum, iron, say, to really get your iron ore, you need to destroy forest. A few years back in Kumarappa region in Karnataka, there was a lot of agitation, but even today the destroying of forest keeps happening, and we are increasing our use of iron when there is such a simple alternative as what they told. Reinforcements can be through just split bamboo, which is even scientifically proven, but for making it mainstream, I think the professionals as well as the consumers need to be educated, and awareness creation needs to happen. So my love for bamboo grew manifold as I start delving into it, because it produces more oxygen, it is highly renewable, it is structurally so much superior. And just to give one small nugget of information, when I forgot the name of the person who found the electric bulb. I couldn't recollect his name. So he tested almost few hundreds of different materials for his electric bulb, and the first material in which he was able to get his electric bulb working was bamboo, and then eventually he found tungsten, but it was the bamboo fiber that was used in the first electric bulb. So that's the versatile, and even today after Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, that region when every other living organism was destroyed, it was one bamboo culm that survived, and that is even today is being maintained. So the association of health with built environment is something that needs to be addressed. Today, there is a growing concern on this. I think we need to throw more attention towards it, and even in European countries, there are new for like how in our food products we have ingredients mentioned in the products in the building materials. There is an ingredients list that is being made mandatory, and hopefully that will come in the coming days to India too. Coming to clothing, today we all know the importance of khadi, but there is a 5,000 year long history of our cotton and khadi, which needs to be understood. Today, after the British came and for their mills in UK, they changed our traditional varieties, and they made us grow some of the different varieties of cotton which were not indigenous to Indian conditions, and the complete life cycle of the textile is today very unsustainable or not eco-friendly at all, and the change needs to happen from us. So I can proudly tell that the shirt that I'm wearing is so we have a small group of people here who actually make our own yarn and give it to the neighboring district weaving community in Melkote, who gives us the cloth, and we stitch it with the local tailor. So understanding this entire cycle of how cotton is grown and how it is being made into threads and how it is being woven, the technology behind weaving is so elaborate. And in India, when we talk about Dharmavaram silk or the Kanchivaram silk or the cotton sarees, each area has their own weaving style and patterns and technology that has evolved. So I think it's important to understand that, and today there are many small groups that are evolving in many cities. In Mysuru, we have around 20-25 of us who spin regularly, make our own yarn, and we meet regularly and see how we can work together to expand this. So I think I've short upon time. I'm sorry about that. I'll try to complete it in the next 5 minutes. Just wanted to talk about my mentor or my guru, J.C. Kumarappa, who actually helped me tie all the different loose ends when I was struggling to understand sustainability. So his book, Economy of Permanence, talks about the connection between economy and ecology in those days, in those 90s, 30s, when it was not so evident like today. So this book is something that I recommend to everyone, The Web of Freedom, which helps to see our historical past during the struggle, the freedom struggle, and also understand our rich heritage of the different things when it comes to the food and shelter and clothing that I was talking. So just to summarize again, knowledge is something that happens through our work, through constant innovation, through our continuous experiments with the world, with the society around. So today, when we talk about sustainability, predominantly we focus on technology, but so standing in the shoulders of a giant to see the peak is actually a metaphor used predominantly in the intellectual progress. But to scale the peaks of sustainability, we need to realize the fact that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And none is more equipped to realize this, to scale this peak better than us Indians. As unity in diversity is in our genetic formula. Our ability to forge unified vision is what will make us grow, and our collective knowledge that puts nature at the very center of all our actions will be our real strength. Thank you for the opportunity, and glad to be part of this group. Thanks to everyone.
Thanks, Balachandran ji. Very good presentation. Now over to Madan and other group members for question and answers.
Looking forward for the group's reflection.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Balachandran ji, I'll show myself. I'm sorry. No, I cannot show myself. My name is Sanjay Banerjee. I am still working with Amrita School of Business in Coimbatore, and I thought that I know quite a lot about the subject, but you showed me how little is my understanding and knowledge on this thing, and it's a wonderful kind of a presentation. One sentence you said, I have noted down, and you said that everyone who consumes food need to understand how the food comes. And I tell you, this is really a fantastic statement. And I have other friends who also are very much into this whole thing. Just give me a moment. I want to, read out something which a friend just wrote to me. Just give me a moment. And what he wrote is that here he's a Swedish citizen, and he says, "Here is my Swedish food prayer in English. Amma, you are in the rice and all the grains. You are in the farmer and his oxen, donkey, and tractor. You are the fire in my stomach, digesting the food. May I, as a bold timber cutter, cut down the tree of Maya. Amma, help me to constantly chant my mantra and to become a perfect instrument in your hands." So this is what he wrote, and I believe that this is very interesting, and I'm going to share this with our group very soon. One moment. Where is our group? I'm sorry I'm taking your time. Your group has come and I'm pasting it here. So I pasted it in our group. So I have only one question to you, sir, if you like. And the question is, recently I came to know that the current problem of the economic problem in Sri Lanka is partly due to the country shifting to organic farming completely, partly, not wholly. And I know that initially when we start organic farming, the productivity comes down and it takes some time to regain the level of productivity which was earlier with all these chemical inputs. So how can farmers, sort of sustain themselves in this introductory period when there's a dip in the outcome? How are you tackling that in your farmers group? Thank you.
Sorry, I'm unmuting. Thank you for asking that question. Today, I think the world is grappling with that question of whether to take the technology route or to go the traditional route. Specifically on the Sri Lankan crisis, the very sudden decision taken at the highest level was the real cause. So today, it's not just in Sri Lanka, even in India, the state of the soil condition is really, really bad in the sense the kind of microbial activities is completely lost, and it is like putting a person in a ventilator in a hospital. So that is the current state of our soil everywhere across the world, because the problem of agriculture is not India specific or Asia specific. There was a delegation from Germany who told the exact set of problems that we are facing. The subsidized nature of agricultural production today is a global phenomenon, and there is a World Trade Organization which is promoting it. So if you start looking at the current state of soil condition, it definitely cannot change overnight, because when a person is in ventilator, you cannot make him walk or run overnight. Especially in nature, every cycle takes its own time, but it can heal itself for sure, because every human body, everything in nature has an inbuilt mechanism to regain its balance. So what is required is a constant observation and allowing time to make it happen, which didn't happen in the case of Sri Lanka. And they started talking about, without chemicals we cannot feed the world. No, that is not the case. Definitely, we have so much of our nature has enough to feed everyone's hunger for sure. So that is something that I have personally realized myself.
Well, you have to agree.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Balachandran sir, for this presentation. Only one question I have is about the use of bamboo that you mentioned. Actually, I was looking for, personally, my experience is that the availability of bamboo and probably marketing is also one more problem. But overall, what I see is I had a need for a plant stand for my rooftop garden. And I was looking for bamboo, especially as you said, since it can withstand a good amount of weight. But then the availability, I live in a town, so the availability, everything became a problem. And finally, I had to go for a PVC kind of plant stand, because that availability of PVC is like almost in every shop you get. So why? I mean, if bamboo is so say it can hold a lot of weight, and also it has so many other good characteristics. I understand probably the growing of bamboo is limited compared to any other plant for this use, but overall, do you see any specific issues why we are not getting bamboo based products at similar to like any other say iron or any other kind of stand for a similar use?
G, thank you for asking that question. Very basic. I think today we all want alternatives, but which is not readily available. So there are many aspects to it. One, since the British time or after independence, bamboo was classified as a forest produce that alienated the material from common man's use for many years. Only 5 years back, that was declassified, and now anybody can grow, cultivate, harvest, and transport bamboo. So many years of that alienation ensured that that is out of market reach, but now it is slowly coming back. The second is, in terms of material choices, say bamboo is not something that grows in every region. Yes, it is across India. In India, 12% of forest cover is bamboo, and it grows north, east, west, center, everywhere, but not necessarily the most common one. For example, in some of the dryland areas of Ramnad, Virudhunagar. So because it requires high moisture. So the point is, when we talk about choice of materials for our construction, so Laurie Baker and Gandhi actually specifically defined, if you can choose the materials for your dwelling unit within a 5-kilometer radius, then you can call that sustainable. Now, 5 kilometers was perhaps a few decades back. Now, even if we increase that to 50, even 100-kilometer radius, we can call that sustainable. So the key approach there is to understand how we design, or what are the choice of material for our requirement. And the second thing is, it needs to be a holistic approach, because as I mentioned, the maintenance component. In olden days, they built bamboo and mud houses and lived for 100 years. And today, we couldn't get that structure going for 2 years. After 2 years, we couldn't do the maintenance properly. Because in olden days, when you build a house, from the kitchen there was smoke that was coming out every day. That was keeping away all the borers and the ants. And when you do a mud flooring or a red oxide flooring, you don't have furnitures that keeps moving around, scratching the flooring. So these are some of the experiences I happened to get during my practicing as an architect. When you try to create an environment out of an emotional connect without having a practical understanding of what we really want to achieve, we end up having internal conflicts. So when the path towards sustainability needs to be designed and work in a holistic nature, in the sense with lifestyle changes and all that. That being said, at the end of the day, the potential is huge. In the sense, if we have bamboo frames and bamboo doors and bamboo windows available in the neighborhood store in every town and city, definitely people are going to buy it and use it. But today, we don't have that option. So people are forced to go for PVC and metal. Now, how do you create this is like you need to create that entire ecosystem. We need to start cultivating bamboo. We need to make sure that the treated bamboo is available in the market and the value-added products can come in. I keep telling this simple example. Today, the passenger cars wouldn't be a success all over the world if the jack was not found or discovered or invented. In the sense, without a jack in the bag, nobody would take a car outside of their town with the fear that if the tire gets punctured, they will be stranded. So the point is to build an ecosystem, we need to start connecting the many dots, and that's something that can happen only when we work as a community where each one can take a specific work and come together collectively. I hope I had answered your question, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Prakash, please.
Pranam to all. My deep sense of respect to Sri Balachandran ji. I felt myself really enlightened with your talk. It's really great. And not only that, a person who is practicing it, creating small steps, but that makes a real difference, not only at the local level, but through these platforms. Everybody who come across get really enlightened. I have 2-3 things which I thought I must speak. And I fully agree with the concept that it requires a composite ecosystem to propagate these things which you use the word emotional correct, and out of that we are moving ahead. In my region where I stay, we used to have stone roofs in the Himalaya region, and my traditional house was having the stone roof. And over the period, the cooking exercises inside the house was replaced by the LPGs when it came most of the time. And the traditional seasoning method for the roofs ultimately faded. So we have observed that after 2-3 years, the maintenance requirement has increased significantly, and nobody is making new houses with the stone roofs now. Rather, they are going for the RCC or other kind of things. So that is certainly an issue. Then integration of technology, so that the issues which are cropping in with the new cooking patterns or living lifestyle, that will certainly need to be addressed at the local level, because there can't be universal solutions for these things, because local ecosystem has their own practices, and their building or architectural designs have been developed keeping into consideration the local climatic conditions and their requirement for cooling or heating or otherwise. That is there. So that point is really very well taken, and I was thinking that we can start some movement in my area, that we can create some traditional houses even at the to begin with and start living in that. That is one thing. Second point, I was really amused by your observation that cotton is the dirtiest, if I understood it properly. So when we say dirtiest, means that we are comparing with something. Because it is always a comparative, because we read clothes, we read everything. So if we use cotton, some areas other kind of fibers are being used, then we say cotton is dirtiest, means that what are the competing options for cotton? They are far better than cotton. So please, sir, I will require, I'll request you to throw some light on that, whether it is so, whether this is the case. And really it is, if we look for the competing options, it is really a dirtiest. That I thought I need some enlightenment on that. Thank you very much. Overall, it's a great experience. Thank you.
Yes, Ji. So first, yes, the indigenous knowledge matters, and would be happy to promote that indigenous way of doing things. As I said, bamboo is symbolic, it's a perfect symbolic representation of sustainability in many ways, but not necessarily the perfect solution for building requirement all across the world. What comes near the vicinity matters. So on the second point, when I say, so when you search Google for the dirtiest crop of the world, it will show cotton, because it is the most exploited crop economically, ecologically, and socially in the American continent, in the Asian, everywhere. The cotton as a crop has been exploited. So when I say dirtiest, that is the meaning. And today, if you look at the potential crops for our clothing needs, definitely cotton comes first. You can talk about hemp, wool, and a few other options, but cotton, because of its diversity and again, like bamboo, the versatile nature gives you many options for your clothing needs. So when we say dirtiest crop, it talks about the exploitation that has happened through the ages. So the kind of cotton cultivation, so BT cotton was introduced in India a few decades back. Till then, like how we talk about our rice varieties, India used to have 5,000 different rice varieties. Similar to that, every region, every area had their own cotton variety, which was indigenous to that environment. So it used to be a dryland crop. People used to grow it when there was no rains. With just one rain, it can actually fetch some returns for the farmers. Now, today, 97.5% of the entire cotton cultivation happening in India is BT cotton, which is monopolized by Monsanto and its subsidiaries. So, today, if you want to grow cotton, native cotton variety, you need to go in search of the right indigenous seed variety, which itself will take some time. So, cotton, when we talk about our clothing needs, our traditional knowledge of growing cotton and converting it into a yarn through charaka, and our weaving technologies that has evolved over many centuries. Even Kabir Das used to sing about it. There are many instances when you actually start reading about our traditional cultures on cotton and khadi. So we just need to take simple steps, and by making my own cloth, I grow cotton in 10 cents, convert that into yarn, take the help of my neighbor to convert it into a cloth, and take the help of another neighbor to make it into a shirt for myself. It gives me a sense of empowerment and satisfaction. I think, depending on the context, again, if you are in a place where wool is predominant, if there is a way to, because my knowledge about wool is so limited, but understanding the entire life cycle of wool itself is going to be very revealing and satisfying. So I hope I explained myself properly, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll switch over to our already more than 1 hour has passed. Thank you, Balachandran ji.